Phew, man, that was good. Koharu stretched her back as we meandered up the river walk. Now that the main event was over, we were ready to head home. The crowds had thinned quite a bit, though the food stands and other attractions were still going strong. The various vendors shouted out their offerings in an attempt to lure a few last customers as people filed out of the festival grounds. "Excuse me, I'd like to buy a turn, please," Koharu called out, handing 200 yen to the attendant at the bouncy ball fishing stand. He took it and plopped a tiny paper scoop in her hand. She knelt in front of the big water tank, rolling her sleeves back as she psyched herself up to fish out some bouncy balls like nobody's business. "Alright, let's see if I can get 101 gold this year." "Is that possible?" Anzu asked, looking genuinely perplexed. "Oh yeah, I'm a pro at this. Ain't nobody ever scooped more balls than me. I've been undefeated since elementary school." "I thought you swore you were only doing it to bring back a souvenir for your brothers," I wanted to say, but I held my tongue. "Huh, I've never done it before, personally," said Anzu. "Wait, seriously? Then why don't we do it together?" "Excuse me, sir, can we get another scoop over here?" "Alright, now watch closely. There's a trick to it, you see? Before you do anything else, you're gonna want to dip the paper in the water, cause thou..." As Koharu hyped Anzu up to go fishing for bouncy balls, I massaged my eyelids with my thumb and forefinger. It seemed staring at all those bright fireworks for an extended period of time had given me a headache, because both my eyes and brain were throbbing in pain. It would probably be a good idea to head home and go straight to bed as soon as possible, as soon as they were done with their little kids game. Pinching the inner corners of my eyes, I took a deep breath and turned my head toward the sky. When all of a sudden, I caught a glimpse of a woman passing by in my peripheral vision. To be clear, all she did was casually walk past me, yet something about her put my brain on high alert. I turned toward her as she walked away. She was wearing a yukata and had her hair tied up on the back of her head. I couldn't tell much else from behind, not even how old she was. Yet, for some inexplicable reason, this crazy impulse in my head told me I needed to get a better look. Before I knew it, I was chasing after her, sprinting as fast as I could, so as not to lose her in the crowd. The more I closed the distance between us, the more the strange emotions inside me began to take on clearer and more discernible shapes. Devotion, dependence, deja vu, nostalgia? Then the woman stopped, turning to speak with the 40-something-year-old man who stood beside her, and I finally got a look at her face. What? I had to rub my eyes and do a double take. It was my mother, the woman who thoroughly disappeared on us 5 years prior. But how? How could she be here? No, perhaps that was the wrong question. After all, it wasn't as if she had died. She just woke up one day and decided to walk right out of my life without ever looking back. She didn't even handle the divorce paperwork herself. She made her parents take care of that. Nevertheless, I obviously should have known in the back of my head that there was always the possibility that I would run into her somewhere. More importantly, who was that man beside her? Was he her new partner? They seemed to be having a good time together anyway. My mother was laughing, enjoying herself, content. "Hey Eggy, hope we're doing well." But what about me? What was I supposed to do? No, it went without saying. Oh, hold up. Someone woke up to use the restroom, so I'm just gonna chill a bit, and I'll continue reading in a bit. Mofu, is a family-friendly and wholesome stream. Please refrain from posting ghost butt emojis and any emoji combinations with it. So please refrain from being unwholesome here, Mofu. Calm down, calm down. Thank you, Mofu. I suppose that wasn't meant for me, or this shack egg, or I suppose I should call you Great. Do not confuse you with Eggy. Alright, let's continue reading again. Where were we? But what about me? What was I supposed to do? No, it went without saying. I would not say anything. Pretend I never saw her and go home and forget about this. That was the right thing to do. My mother had made her choice and it wasn't my place to infringe on her happiness anymore. Was I really okay with that? Walking away without trying to get closure on any of the unanswered questions she'd left me with? Like why she walked out on us? And if it was my fault? Or if she ever loved me in the first place? All of a sudden, she turned toward me. Then our eyes met, and for a moment, time stood still. The bustling sounds of the festival grew distant. Everything around us started flowing in slow motion. Neither of us moved a muscle. We simply stood there, keenly aware of one another. She knew who I was, and I knew who she was. An eternity distilled into a few fleeting seconds. Then it was over, and not a moment later, her face twisted in abject horror. One of the corners of her mouth twitched with disgust, and her lips trembled as though she were about to cry out for help. Like a prisoner who'd been thrown into a dungeon locked up in a cage with a ferocious, bloodthirsty monster. That reaction told me more than words ever could. In her eyes, I probably did look like some horrible abomination. The very manifestation of her trauma that she'd spent the last 5 years trying to forget. My brain sent out a distress signal to every one of my nerve endings, telling them to get me the hell out of there, right now. So I turned on my heel and attempted to walk away as calmly as I could. I didn't know what I'd expected. For her to apologize for abandoning me, to tell me it wasn't my fault and she didn't hold anything against me. No, I knew better than to get my hopes up. Yet, somehow it still felt like I'd been grossly betrayed. My legs began to quake. I bumped into several different people walking in the opposite direction, a couple of whom yelled at me. To be clear, I could see where I was going just fine. It was only that my brain wasn't processing any sensory information whatsoever. Just call me eggs, please? Oh no, 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 no. It's gonna be so hard. Alright. Yeah, alright, the two of you need to listen carefully then. I'm gonna call eggs, and I always call the eggy, I always call you eggy, and the other one eggs. Tono-kun? All of a sudden, Anzu was standing right in front of me. What's the matter? Why'd you run off? Hang on, why do you look so pale? Are you feeling alright? Hanashiro, I mumbled, walking through her with heavy, plodding footsteps. Then I threw my arms around her. Tono-kun, I held her firmly in my embrace. Oh gosh, I hate reading these parts. It makes me embarrassed. I held her firmly in my embrace, squeezing her delicate frame as tightly as I could, skin touching skin, my chin hanging over her shoulder. I couldn't explain it. It was just something I had to do. I knew that if I didn't find something to hold, something to anchor me, I'd be dragged into the swirling vortex of emotions that now threatened to swallow me whole. The water was rising and I needed her now more than ever, so I held her close so as not to be swept away. That was so cringe. I mean, it's really good writing, but I'm cringing because it's so embarrassing to me. Oh hey mermaid. Iggy, I'm gonna ban you. At first, Anzu's entire body seized up in shock. Then, bit by bit, I felt her muscles relax, until eventually she let her guard down completely and accepted me into her universe. We stood there like that for a while, her holding me down as I took shelter from the storm in the comfort of her existence, my only source of warmth in the entire vacuum of space. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read it seriously. Alright guys, I swear, this book is pretty interesting. Just that the romantic parts, they're written very poetically. I just imagine like two high school students hugging and then just like, and this is the description, is so weird. What the heck did I click and do? No, mermaid, I'm sorry. It's not like this. You came at the wrong time. Ban myself first. Oh, you stop that, Eggy. I want to ban you, then ban you. Hey, Kanahunu. Did you get the Pushing? I actually haven't launched the game yet. I finished downloading. I haven't launched the game yet. I don't know if I'll get it. I think I'll play the game tomorrow, Iggy, and I'll see if I like it or not. If I really like the game, I'll get the Pushing and then just play the game for like a week before quitting. Yo, I know Mermaid, I know you love Otome games. So I assume that this writing, you're loving it right now, aren't you? It's a fun party. Yeah, it looks really fun and chill. Alright. I don't know how long it lasted. Could have been 5 seconds, could have been a full minute. However, when I finally felt calm enough to stand on my own 2 feet again, I pulled away, only to see that her cheeks were flushed pink, which made me start blushing up a storm as well. Man, well, where was my moment like this in high school? What the hell was I thinking? Doing that right in the middle of a public space. The people around us probably thought I was some cringy lover boy, I think so too by the way, who let myself get swept away by the throes of intense passion. Karuhuru, stop! It's spicy, oh my gosh, y'all are down bad. Don't worry, it's gone now, we're chilling. Sorry, I just don't know what came over me, I'm stammered. Are you okay? Anzu asked, her voice full of genuine concern. Now that the heat of the moment has subsided, the embarrassment has gone, and in its place came a sense of newfound security and belonging. Like maybe there was a place for me in the world after all. In this world after all. Like maybe I'd be alright. So long as I had Anzu to keep me grounded. Man, look at this dude. Reading this book right now. Wait, no. Okay, so this is like the only 1 out of like 3 moments this happened as Mermaid. It's like a sci-fi drama, coming of age, teenage, school life, slice of life, whatever. Romance is like the last thing. It's just like a science fiction kind of high school, a young adult novel. That's it. That's it, Mermaid. Nothing spicy. Don't be misled. Don't misunderstand on the passages I just read. Boo, oi. Yeah, I'm okay now. Come on, Kawasaki's probably getting tired of waiting. You sure you're alright? Yep, I'm all good. Thanks to you. I owe you one. As we made our way back to where Koharu was waiting, I said a silent farewell to my mother. I knew I'd likely never cross paths with her again. Yes, my order? God, gosh darn it. Oh, but the movie for this book is coming out. The anime movie is coming out in fall of this year, I believe. So like sometime December, November, October. I don't know. So you don't want to get spoiled, and when you want to watch the movie instead, ban yourself from the stream. All right. Well, if you already have nice hands, yeah, don't worry. I got that. Yeah, I actually got that a lot in the beginning. But thanks. I'm not sure why, but it's really red. It's really red when it's on the book. But it's not supposed to be that red. Yeah. And then you crack your knuckles. Okay, people say I crack my knuckles weird. Do I crack it that weird? I crack it like this. That's how I crack it. That's how I crack my knuckles. And if I feel like there's still some, I do that. That. Oh, cracking. Oh, I'd crack my knuckles like once every like 5 minutes. I crack my knuckles so much. Cause there's always like a finger that needs to be cracked. People were reacting to it, but Luffy does it anyway. Oi. What the heck, Egg? You stop that. You're as sus as Eggy. That's what I say. You can crack my Sonic? What does that even mean? Crack my Sonic? Now, how have we been doing, well, Mermaid? Well, we're streaming before. Shoot. I was there lurking when, was it Nasty you rated? I already forgot. Oh, no, I'm a fake fan. That's a pun? Oh, I just realized it. Oh my god. What the? What was that? I refuse to believe that was good. I refuse to believe that was a good joke. It doesn't make sense. It's basically what happened yesterday about the monkey and monklog. That made me so angry. They didn't see a big something good. Oh, I remember now. You're playing Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. Never mind, I remember now. Oh well, never mind. That you remind me of what you were playing. Alright, I'm gonna start reading. Going back to reading. Because I swear I said it was gonna be a short stream because we're just reading 30 pages, but if I actually start chatting, it's gonna take like freaking 5 hours to finish reading 30 pages. And again, we'll be finishing the book next Thursday. I'll be spending 4 hours finishing the book next Thursday. Or however long it takes to finish freaking 70 or 60 pages, 66 pages. Ideally, I mean, this probably only takes me like an hour to 2 hours, but I'll be talking to chat, so it's gonna take way longer. Alright. On the shuttle ride home, the bus was virtually empty. The three of us sat side by side all the way in the back, me at the window seat, staring out into the night and offering only yes or no responses to Anzu and Koharu's attempt to engage me in conversation. Me IRL. I was officially ready for bed, and not just due to eye strain, if anything, my exhaustion was more mental than physical. Yeah, y'all better stop talking. Next person who talks gets banned. When I thought on that unfortunate encounter, I realized that I had expected something more from my mother. Maybe somewhere deep down, I'd always assumed she would return to us when she recovered from the trauma of losing Cotton. I knew that was a pretty fanciful delusion on my part, but it at least explained why I felt so crushed. Wait, no, I'm kidding. I'd known from the moment my mother walked out on us that she'd never come back. and I thought I'd come to terms with that. Yet merely seeing her face had given me a resurgence of false hope. It seemed blood ties surely were the hardest to sever. Maybe it was that blood connection that had brought us together again. Some invisible bond of fate. I like to imagine that it was, because it gave me renewed hope that I might be reunited with Kanan one day, given that she and I shared a far, far stronger bond. No, it wasn't a matter of might. I would see Kanan again. Someday, very soon, in fact. Before the end of summer vacation, I was going to head deep down into the Urashima tunnel, and I wouldn't return until I found her and brought her back. That was my mission, my obligation as her brother. After seeing Anzu and Koharu off at the station, I took a 10-minute taxi ride home. When I walked in the front door, I saw a pair of white high heels I didn't recognize sitting in the entryway. Apparently, my father had a guest, which was unusual enough on its own, but a woman? Now that was a first. I sneaked down the halls so as not to disturb them, but then the living room door opened and my father poked his head out. "Oh, there you are, Kaoru. Was wondering when you'd make it home," he grinned, his face so red and slack-jawed that I instantly knew he was drunk. He'd come home like this a lot lately, but today he looked especially bad. "Well, don't just stand there, come on in and say hello." Okay. I did as I was told and walked into the living room, where I made immediate eye contact with a woman sitting politely atop the tatami mat floor. She was a clean-cut young lady who appeared to be in her mid-30s, and her whitish skin and an artificial sheen. She offered a pleasant greeting, which I returned in kind. I looked at the table and saw a big platter of catered sushi and a row of large beer bottles. Half the sushi platter had been picked over, and they'd gone through 2 of the beer bottles as well. "Well, go on, have a seat," my father said. "Sorry?" I said, "Have a seat, my boy, take a load off for a while." My father grabbed me by the shoulder more or less, forced me to my knees. He was making it abundantly clear that I had no say in the matter, but it was all so sudden that I couldn't really fathom what was going on. My father sat beside me and put his arm around my neck with a giddy smirk. His breath reeked of alcohol. "You have a sushi platter. Oh shoot, because we'll be finishing this book next week. I'm gonna need a new book to read. I'm not sure what kind of book to read. I have a lot of books right now that I could read, but I don't really feel like reading them. I feel like reading new books. And they probably aren't as interesting. They're not anime books." Alright. "This is my son, Kaoru," he said. He's a sophomore at Kozaki High." "Aw, he seems like an old-mannered boy," the woman smiled. "Oh, he is. He can cook, do laundry, you name it. The only thing he seems he can't do is shoot his poor old man a text when he decides to go AWOL. Ha ha ha," he chuckled heartily. "Oh, I'm just teasing, Kaoru. Hey, you hungry? Feel free to have as much sushi as you like. It's all yours, son." So far, I only love the Rainbow Troops. I don't know what Rainbow Troops is. I got a recommendation? For stream, reading on stream, I do prefer if it's like a light novel, or an anime book, I guess. An anime book, no, a light novel. A Japanese novel. Because that's usually... because everyone here is a weeb. But if you got a recommendation, go for it. I have some in mind already that I'll be thinking about. Both seem pretty sad. "No, I'm fine, thanks. This kid, I tell ya, never been a very big eater, though it saves me money, so I don't know why I'm complaining. Ha ha ha." I just sat there in silence. My father's words, his tone of voice, his mannerism, his expressions, it was all so transparent. He was merely playing the part of a good father, like a costume party that only he had dressed up for. You know what? True. Whenever there's someone new in chat, I have to hold myself back from slapping Mofu, because if the new viewer notices me being so violent towards like other viewers, they might get scared. So I just hold myself back from being too violent when there's a new viewer. I say Kaoru. Why was he trying so hard to give off the illusion that he had a good relationship? Why had he insisted that I come join them? Yeah, you can just share it anyways if you want, Egg. Like, I could also just read it off stream too. Who was this woman anyway? She was clearly a fair bit younger than my dad, so why were they speaking so candidly with one another? Was she a distant relative, a co-worker, a friend? My mind was filled to the brim with all sorts of questions, but nary a single answer. Oh God, where are my manners? I forgot to introduce you. My father removed his arm from around my neck. Son, I'd like you to meet your new mom. Heh? My new mom? I've been meaning to tell you for a while. Oh, that's why he's been so happy lately. But I've been so busy with work. I want to wait for it to feel right, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna wait for it to feel right. You're drunk right now, dude. You know? So yeah, sorry if this all of a little sudden, but that's where we're at right now. What do you mean, that's where we're at? You see, she and I have known each other from work for quite a while, but we only really hit it off about a month ago and so we met up for lunch a few times, and she's been married once before too. So, and then when you ran away from home that one time she emotional support and oh, I'ma slap you. The price of cremation is the name. I'll try to remember that. If you want like share a synopsis on chat, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. I'll just look it up later if I remember. The words he was saying barely registered in my brain. My head spun like crazy. I was nauseous. What the hell was this crap? And on the same day, I'd had a traumatic experience with my old mom, no less. Could I really not catch a goddamn break? Yet the two of them happily carried on, totally undeterred by my lack of enthusiasm. Anyway, come on, let's have a toast. Didn't your doctor tell you not to drink so much? No, it's no big deal, today's a special occasion. I don't think that excuse would fly with him. Quit worrying and drink with me already. Oh, for crying out loud. God, we need to go for real seafood again sometime soon. Yeah, after things calm down and work a little bit maybe. Oh, I'm sure they will be for a lot too long. I'd love to take a nice overseas vacation too. Did I mention I've been saving up for a new car? We'll have all the time in the world once we retire. It would be nice to take up some new hobbies. Buy a little house sometime. Buy a nice little house somewhere. Okay. I feel like because now the main character will like see his dad and Neil mother or whatever, his Neil wife, kick it off so well. I think the main character will be way more at ease with going through with the plan to use the tunnel and basically risk leaving behind his current life. Cause I think I feel like one of the one things kind of holding him back is like feeling guilty that he'll be leaving his dad alone. I think now he'll be more impulsive in going through with that plan. I just need it before my cat become possessed. Have a good one, Egg. My old cranky father and the woman he intended to force me and stay as my new mother continued to paint their vision of their idyllic future together. I could already tell there was no room for me in that frame. After all, the only way to be a part of a family was to be born into it, and thus connected by blood. In order to love someone so much, you wanted to start a new one with them. I had neither love nor blood ties with either of these two. So where the hell did that leave me in this question? Or equation? I think feel free at nighttime. I need to go outside around midnight. Yeah, depending where you are, going outside at midnight's pretty chill. Or in the middle of the night. Like cool air, no cars, just silence. It's different than in the morning because like there's also no birds chirping. It's just quiet and you just hear the wind. Very chill. Peace out, Egg. Well, I hate the outdoors, so disgusting. Alright, just so you know, Karu, we're going to be moving out of this place sometime in the not so distant future. Wait, what? I've got a new job lined up and everything, my father explained excitedly. Totally ignoring the clear displeasure I drawn over my face. We're gonna get Al Kozaki and move into a nice condominium. Con condominium. Minium. It'll be a little bit cramped compared to this place, sure, but things are going to be a whole lot more convenient over there, I promise. The woman across from us nodded enthusiastically to emphasize the point. I am. Take care, Egg. Oh, Lynn? I mean, you messaged me at a time that I wasn't, you know, on Genshin. Yeah, Egg, you stayed up for pretty late. Oh, and don't worry about your educational career. We'll be able to sell this place for a nice chunk of change. Then we can afford to send you all the way through college or whatever technical school you like. We even set you up with enough money to rent your own place if you want to go somewhere farther away. The three of us are going to have a fresh start in a brand new city and a brand new home. A fresh start. Isn't that exciting, son? There's a new life ahead of us, waiting just around the corner. I thought I felt a blood vessel pop inside my brain. The pores on my scalp flared and my vision went red. I'm not sleeping? No, Egg, sleep! Mofu, I'm gonna slap you, oi. Okay, Lynn, you know, if you ever need something from Genshin, like urgently, you feel free to just message me in the Discord server, on our Discord server, and I'm way more likely to respond there. Because in Genshin, I'm like on like at max, like 30 minutes a day if there's no events. I just get on, do dailies, and I just get out. I'm only on for like 10 to 30 minutes. Alright. Anyways, Mofu, piss off, old man. What about Karin, huh? You're just gonna try to leave her in the past? Just gonna move on with your happy little carefree life and forget all about your only child of flesh and blood? You sicken me. How dare you not spend every waking hour of every day in misery and regret over what happened to her? How dare you not keep her in the forefront of your mind at all times? When you stop doing that, it really will be like she never existed to begin with. Don't you realize that, you stupid asshole? I wanted to grab one of those empty beer bottles and smash it over his head. I wanted to flip the table and punch a hole in the screen door. I wanted to give in to the rage inside and let it take control. All I could do was clench my fists and grit my teeth. I didn't know how to actually act on any of these urges, so the anger could only build inside me until it reached a breaking point. Then the fury toward my father turned into frustration with myself, until eventually I couldn't hold it any longer and tears came gushing out. What the, Kaoru? Are you crying? My father asked with concern, peering up into my downturned face. Don't look at me, you piece of crap. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Asked the woman. Stay out of this, you goddamn homewrecker. Oh, I see what's going on here. My father placed his hand on my shoulder. I said, don't touch me. Don't you worry, Kaoru. I understand that you have a lot of reservations about this. It's a pretty big change, but I know the three of us can get through if we work together. Can you try to do that for me, son? As I looked at his smiling face full of newfound hope and aspirations, I finally understood. My father was determined to pretend like none of it had ever happened. Not Karin's death, not my mother leaving, not the horrible way he treated me. He was trying to leave all that emotional baggage in the past so he could go skipping off to find his happily ever after with his shiny new wife. Just like my mother seemed to be doing, judging from her horror at the mere sight of me. The two of them really were perfect for each other in that sense. Too bad they'd already divorced. I'll read all of this, by the way, after here. All at once, the red-hot rage that had been simmering in my head dropped to below freezing, and a chill ran down my spine. Only a moment later, my stomach churned. Then I puked, all over the table. The woman shrieked as a cascading river of light brown vomit and half-digested foodstuffs dribbled onto the tatami floor. Even after I'd thrown up every last chunk of the yakisoba and sponge cake I'd eaten at the festival, the taste of lifeguard mixed with bile remained in my stomach as I continued retching every last drop of fluid in my stomach. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? My father yelled, forgetting to maintain his loving parent act as he pushed me to the ground. As soon as my stomach was empty and I finally finished dry heaving, I got up and without cleaning up my own mess, ran out of the living room, scrambled up the stairs and locked my door. Finally safe in my bedroom. I wiped my mouth with a copious number of tissues, then climbed into bed and pulled the covers over my head. It was the only way to calm myself down, even if it meant overheating in a vacuum-sealed pocket of my own putrid breath. I couldn't help myself, it was simply too nauseating being down there. The stupid smug look on my father's face as he talked wistfully about our future, and the way the woman hung on his every stupid word with rapt attention like he was some spellbinding orator delivering truly insightful wisdom. It was vile and depraved and disgusting all around. If I stayed there even a second longer, I would have done something I regretted. Hell, I was getting pissed again just thinking about it. As I swallowed repeatedly in a vain attempt to use my saliva to soothe the burn of gastric acid in my throat, my cell phone buzzed in my pocket. Figuring it was my father telling me to come back downstairs, I rolled my eyes as I pulled it out to see whatever nonsense he'd sent. In actuality, it was a text message from Anzu. Thanks for coming out tonight. I had a really good time. That was all that she wrote. Yet, funnily enough, it quelled the demons inside me and set my soul at ease. She really was my only safe harbor in this world. I definitely wouldn't have been able to hold it together after what happened at the festival earlier if she hadn't been there to support me. Never in my life had I let myself lean on another human being before. Certainly not to the extent of breaking down and wrapping my arms around them at least. Only Anzu had seen me at my most vulnerable, and I couldn't possibly express how grateful I was to her for accepting me. Even as a flawed screw-up that I was, my respect for her was renewed after tonight, welling alongside a strange new emotion, an almost magnetic affection that I couldn't resist. Anzu had officially cemented herself as an irreplaceable part of my world. I replied to her text with a simple, same here, then drifted into a deep, murky sleep, still clutching my cell phone tightly in my hand. Alright. How many pages do we have? Next person who talks gets banned. August 1st, the day before our final expedition into the Urashima Tunnel. It was 10 a.m. and the cicadas were out in full force. I sat at my writing desk, composing a letter to my father that ultimately boiled down to, hey, I'm running away from home and probably not coming back. I was mainly leaving it so my father couldn't get the police involved to look for me after I was gone, thinking I'd been murdered or abducted. By making my intent to leave clear in advance, they wouldn't have cause to launch a full-on search party for me. At least, that was what Anzu said. Well, if we let him enjoy skateboarding to anime, that's your friend finding a new hobby steer? No shot. Hi, Mr. Comfortable friends, could you repeat? You're out here. I'm gonna slap the both of you. You're ignored. My primary source of anxiety was that they might somehow track us through the Urashima Tunnel and unwittingly walk inside trying to find us. And there was no telling what problem that might cause. Worst case, we would be apprehended before we got our wishes granted, or they would seal off the tunnel and trap us inside. That was one possibility I definitely wanted to avoid. Of course, that was only if my father managed to successfully request a search party, and even that was unlikely, so I wasn't all that concerned. I knew my father wouldn't try that hard to find me before giving up, and from what I've heard about Anzu's parents, they wouldn't either. My father had become extremely bitter toward me ever since the night of the festival when I puked all over the living room floor. He hadn't asked me if I was feeling okay, or even acknowledged me when I walked in the room or came home. He did give me dirty looks from time to time, however. He was pretty much treating me like a leper. An obstacle standing between him and his ideal new life. I would be out of his hair very soon, so I hoped he would be patient just a little bit longer. Man, I really thought his father was acting like nicer to him after he basically ran away from home for a solid week. But no, he was just nicer because he had a freaking new girlfriend. Man. Alright, with the letter finished, I went over the things I planned to bring with me into the Urashima Tunnel one last time. I had everything laid out on the floor. My flashlight, my wristwatch, my wallet, 4 packages of calorie mate, and a 2.5 liter thermos for drinking water. I shoved them all inside my big hiking backpack and put it on to test the weight. Surprisingly, it was only about half as heavy as my normal school book bag when filled with textbooks. Even after filling up the thermos with water, it'd still be pretty damn light. The plan was to power walk, not run, the whole way once we made it to pass the Tori. So we needed to keep our load as light as possible. This was another one of Anzu's idea. I felt like I wasn't really pulling my weight as her partner. What with her being the one always coming up with the good ideas. But that just went to show her intelligence. If her wisdom made it more likely for the expedition to be a success, then I'd have been a fool not to take advantage. The time was finally drawing near. Soon, Kanen and I would be reunited. Our plan was to take the whole day off and rest up for the big day. Yet I'd barely curled up in bed with a nice volume of manga when I heard my phone ring. It wasn't a text either. It was an actual phone call, and from Anzu no less. Yes? Hello? I answered. Hey, Tono-kun, sorry for calling you out of the blue like this. Nah, don't worry about it. What's up? Are you busy right now? Can we meet up and talk for a bit? Sure, no problem. Where at, the tunnel? Preferably not. I like to sit somewhere indoors if possible. I glanced at the clock. Then how about the cafe? Maybe wait out a bit. We'll grab lunch while we're at it. Man, what is this cringe normie talk? Okay, which cafe? The one right by the school. Why don't you meet me in front of the main gate at around noon or so? Got it, I'll see you at noon then. Sounds good, bye, end call. I can't imagine having this kind of conversations anymore with anyone I know. Like, it would be like if I was a dude and some other dude, and one of my friends was the freaking girl, he'd be like, "Ayo, what up?" Wait, sorry for calling out of the blue. No, we would just skip all this part. You would like want to meet up to talk, a talk, and then they would send a GIF of like the freaking surprise thinking emoji, of like a cursed thinking emoji. And I'll be like, where? And I would send a mod check. And I'm like, how about the cafe? And then I would just send a thumbs up, like a freaking anime GIF thumbs up, and that would be a conversation. And I'm like, all right, see ya there, stinky. And then I'll just send a slapping GIF and then walk away. Want me up to talk smack? No, please, Fade. Alright. I wonder what she wanted to talk about. Maybe she wanted to have a pre-game meeting before the big expedition. One last chance to go over things face to face. Since we'd only talked via text for the past week. Either way, I'd find out soon enough. Wait, talk smack? Yeah. You wanna talk smack? And just freaking smack emoji. The hot sun rayed mercilessly off the asphalt, baking the bottoms of my feet through my rubber soles. A sudden gust of ocean wind blew past, caressing my cheeks with even more sweltering humidity. As I remember when I RP'd, I would always use the line, "The wind caressed my cheeks." And now I'm like, man, that's mad cringe. What that wind be doing though? Wink wonk. As I stood waiting for Anzu in front of the school, a whole half hour before we'd agreed to meet, it felt like I was sitting in a sauna. Unfortunately, I had no other option. If I'd taken the next train, I would have arrived well past noon, one of the many things I hate about living out in the sticks. About 10 minutes later, the local bus rolled up to the stop in front of campus and let Anzu out onto the sidewalk. I waved at her and she jogged out to where I stood. "You're here pretty early. Hope I didn't make you wait too long," she said, slightly apologetic. Okay, wait, we got 15 more pages. Now I'm about to speed read. And I just got here myself. Oh good, well then, shall we? I nodded and we headed down the main drag, walking shoulder to shoulder along the sidewalk in the direction of the cafe. From a bird's eye view, the area would have looked like a ghost town or an abandoned movie set, with stray cats and crows far outnumbering the number of people on the streets. Occasionally, a small pickup truck went puttering by. But other than that, the only sound was the distinctive cry of the Min Min cicada. No offense, but this really is a podunk little country bumpkin town. Sorry if it's not up to snuff for you. What was your old neighborhood like? Not nearly as metropolitan as you're imagining. Pretty basic residential area, actually. Wow, really? You mean you didn't waltz on over to Harajuku and eat fancy crepes after school on a daily basis? Anzu snickered. You got an awfully specific mental image of Tokyo life. I mean, sure, there are kids who do stuff like that, but I only knew 2 or 3 at most. Downtown is far. Huh? That's wild to me. That's the way it is, Anzu shrugged before pivoting the conversation back to me. So what do you usually do after school? Man, it's such a normal conversation. What the heck? I guess people do talk like that normally. Man, I just forgot how they talk normally these days. Wait, actually, if I go back to school, I don't know how to talk. Because I can't use emojis IRL. Shoot. Rep. Well, that's a big oof. Where were we? Just whatever. Read manga, cook dinner, chill, basic stuff. Wow, you know how to cook? I dabble. Maybe one of these days you have to invite me over for dinner. As we carried on making small talk, I quietly realized that something felt off about Anzu. She seemed awfully chipper and was being far more talkative than usual. I would normally have considered this a positive development. Yet something about her demeanor, such as she was desperate to keep the conversation from dying, was filling the void with whatever words she could find. Almost like she was trying to butter me up before telling me something she knew I wouldn't want to hear. Then again, it was a very minor behavior shift, all things considered, so maybe I was imagining it. We walked down the covered sidewalks of the depressed shopping district beneath a canopy of exposed steel beams. I had certainly seen better days. The number of shuttered storefronts far outweigh the number of shops still in business. A stray cat lazily walked in front of us from behind a hat shop that I had never once seen a single customer enter. Is there really a cafe around here? Anzu asked, growing visibly concerned. Yeah, there's a little hole in the wall right up. Aha, there it is. I pointed to a signboard they had posted out at the roadside. We proudly serve Key Coffee, said the manufacturer provided advertisement. Next to the entrance was a glass display case featuring fake versions of some of the food offerings. A rice omelet, a Napolitan... I never knew how to pronounce this. Napolitan, spaghetti, etc. A bell jingled as we opened the door and were greeted by the old woman that ran the joint, who was resting her head in her hands on the countertop. Hey kids! Place is empty, so go ahead and sit wherever, she said, before getting up and heading back into the kitchen. Oh wait, that was an annoyed voice. Whoops. Hey kids! She was obviously annoyed to have her downtime interrupted. We navigated the narrow, dimly lit interior, took a seat at a table for 2 and proceeded to peruse the menu. I quickly settled on the rice omelet, while Anzu ordered the deli sandwich. We also requested a pot of coffee for after our meal. The woman scribbled her orders out, then brought 2 glasses of iced water. I downed mine in a single gulp and plunked the empty cup on the tabletop. You said it right? Thanks, Mofu. Gee, I don't know what else to say. It feels weird to just say thanks. To Mofu at least. So listen, whoops, we both started talking at the exact same time. I scratched my head sheepishly and urged Anzu to go first. Oh no, I was wondering if you come to this place very often, she said. Every now and then, maybe once a month or so, just by yourself. Yeah, since junior high at least. Before that, Khan and I used to come together. Usually also with my mother and father, mind you, but I felt no need to mention them specifically. Interesting. What kind of kid was Khan anyway? I don't think I've ever asked. Aw, man. Aw, man, she was great. Super cute and a pretty smart cookie to boot. Just insanely good at reading the room and picking up on social cues. Who says that? Do people actually describe you like that? Man, that person really good at reading the room and picking up social cues. That's so specific. I mean, yes, that's what he appreciated, but do you really bring that up? If she lived to junior high, I guarantee she would have been the most popular girl in school because she knows how to read social cues. You said it right? Oh, thanks, Fade. I always appreciate you. Man, Fade, if it weren't for you, what would I be doing? I appreciate you, Fade. Mofu who? Wow, I'd really love to hear more about her. Got any fun stories you can share? Oh, do I ever? I still remember this one time back when she was only 3 years old, I started rattling off a number of hilarious childhood anecdotes, but all the while, I was thinking to myself that something didn't feel right. No problem, Fade. Oh, food, stop staring at me. I'll poke your eyes out. I was thinking to myself that something didn't feel right. Obviously, I was glad for the opportunity to talk about my little sister, but why did Anzu suddenly seem so interested in knowing more about her? Surely this couldn't be the reason she called me to meet. After finally reaching a stopping point in my recounting of classic Kaiden moments, I decided to ask, "So hey, what do you want to talk about?" "Alrighty kids, 1 rice omelet and 1 deli sandwich." Unfortunately, our food showed up before I could finish. "Let's eat first," Anzu suggested. Yeah, okay. It looked like I'd have to wait until after lunch. Oh well, using the bottom of my spoon, I spread the ketchup out over the top of the omelet. It was your average, simple rice omelet. A thin layer of egg wrapped around chicken fried rice, but it was the most cost-effective item on the menu from a price per calorie standpoint, so I made a habit of ordering every time. Yo, that's probably the one thing I would order every time too. When I go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, all I do is get fried rice because it's just convenient to eat, and that's it. It's always just fried rice, or and pizza, and then I just eat ice cream for dessert. that's all I get. And if they have fried chicken, hey yo, I'm getting that. I don't get anything. I just get out the basic stuff. People be out there like getting crab and lobster. I'm like, holy moly. I glanced up at Anzu as I cut my omelet with the side of my fork. Her deli sandwich was pretty hefty, layers upon layers of ham, lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese on French bread. She clutched it with both hands like a hamburger, letting her teeth sink in deep. Yo, if I made this deli sandwich, I would just have ham and bread. Lettuce, bled, tomatoes, bled, cheese, bled. Guys, please, I'm not a picky eater, I swear. I had to admit, it looked pretty good. I made a mental note to order that the next time I came. Then remembered that this place would very likely be gone by the time we returned from the Urashima Tunnel. As I stared with melancholy at the sandwich I'd likely never have a chance to try, I noticed something. Anzu's hands were trembling. "Hey, Hanashiro? Right? Wash up. Is that AZ bothering you?" She swallowed her bite. "No, that's fine." "Well, alright. You got some mustard on you, by the way." I rubbed my thumb against the corner of my own mouth to indicate where it was. Anzu went pink. Okay, for a second I thought it was I rubbed the thumb against her. I was like, oh my gosh. I was about to get so jealous. Anzu went pink and quickly wiped it off with a napkin. It seemed like she was totally oblivious to the fact that her hands were shaking. I mean, I can't think of doing that IRL though. I can't think of it. I can't think of myself doing that. I'll probably be like, "Man, you're looking real dumb right now. Look at you." And I'll just like show my phone to her in camera mode to show what they look like. Look at this dude. Anzu went pink and quickly wiped off this with a napkin. It seemed she was totally oblivious to the fact that her hands were shaking. I thought it was strange, but finished my meal nonetheless. After taking our dishes away, the woman brought out our after lunch coffee. "So you mentioned over the phone you wanted to talk about anything." "Something," I said. "I wanted to ask you about your little sister." Anzu poured milk and sugar into her coffee and stirred it around. "I figured I should know a bit more about her, or else how am I supposed to find her in the tunnel?" Her spoon clanked rhythmically. What? Wait, I'm so confused how to pronounce this. Rhythmically? Rhythmically? Well, against the side of the ceramic coffee cup. Rhythmically. Rhythmically. Really? Rhythmically. 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 Man, that's weird. Thanks, Fade. I could always count on you, Fade. Thanks. Oh, is that right? You think you would have asked more about what she looked like than her personality in that case? I guess I got a little sidetracked by all the great stories you were telling. Rest assured, I was planning to ask about her appearance as well. Come on, there's gotta be something more to it than that, right? I mean, these are all things you could have asked over the phone. I disagree. I always prefer to have more involved discussions in person. It's more efficient. You're spilling your coffee. Anzu froze and abruptly stopped stirring. Then, biting her lip anxiously, she lifted the spoon out of the cup and set it gently on the saucer. Look, Hanashiro, I'm not trying to grill you here, but are you sure there isn't something you're not telling me? Some other reason you called me out here today? She didn't respond. Listen, I don't want either of us to walk into that tunnel tomorrow with any lingering regrets or uncertainties. So why don't we come right out and say it, whoever it is? I promise I won't think any less of you. Anzu looked at me, eyes wavering nervously. It was clearly something she was very reluctant to discuss. I sat straight and braced myself for whatever it might be, resolved to keep calm and listen even if it was something I didn't want to hear. Anzu took a long, long sip of her coffee, then opened her mouth. Have you heard of journal? Journal. Monthly? Huh? Of all things I may have guessed she was about to say, that certainly wouldn't have been among them. Journal monthly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Was a manga periodical aimed largely at an older audience. I leafed through it a few times at my usual barbershop. It featured a wide variety of more mature genres from dark fantasy to adult contemporary slice of life. In general, you could always tell that the author had a really unique creative vision with every story they published. Yeah, facts. Yeah, because that was all. That was all I could think about. Fade, JoJo characters. Yeah, I'm familiar. What about it? 4 times a year, they do this thing called the Rising Star Competition, where they take original manga. Oh no. I think maybe Anzu freaking won or got pretty good, or won the competition or something, or like they'll serialize her manga, and now she's having second thoughts on going into the tunnel, where they take original manga submissions from aspiring artists and select one winner for actual publication. And well, I actually entered my own story in this spring's competition a few months back. They finally published the results in the month's issues, which went on sale today. That explains why Anzu made us wait until August 2nd to do our expedition into the Unashima Tunnel. I found it highly odd that she's picked the second over the first. Then I understood. Anzu had wanted to see the results before we left. That made sense, of course. Obviously, if she did win, it would be pretty unfortunate for her to vanish for several years without ever knowing. Wait, hang on a minute. You're not about to tell me you won, are you? No, I definitely lost. Okay, wait, what the heck? Okay, never mind, psych. Oh, gotcha, but Anzu came before I could offer my condolences. As it turns out, there was an editor on the publishing team who really took a liking to my submission, even though it didn't win, and they got in touch with me and asked if I'd be interested in working on a manga together. Wait, seriously? So your story's gonna get published after all? No, not exactly. It just means that I'll have my own editor now. I can work with on any hypothetical future projects. However, I haven't heard anything more than that. Wow, your own editor, huh? The idea was so foreign to me that it was starting to feel like I wasn't worthy of existing in Anzu's orbit anymore. What the heck? The world revolves around you and I'm orbiting in it. I don't know why I found that funny. When I made eye contact with her, it looked almost as if she was being rapidly pulled away from me. Like one of those stretching corridor scenes in horror movies. Vertical effect. Don't stare at me like that, Fade. Good one. Oh, thanks, Fade. I know you'd appreciate that joke. So, what does this mean exactly? Now that you've got an editor, where do you go from here? You know, it's funny. I read a lot of manga, but it feels like I know shockingly little about how it's actually made. Well, the vast majority of people keep entering competitions until they win one. In theory, I keep writing manuscripts, send them to my editor for review, make adjustments based on their feedback, and hopefully improve the end product as a result. At least that's how I assume it goes. I'm not much of an expert myself. So is that what you've decided you want to do now? I asked. Maybe I was pushing too hard, but her brow furrowed slightly. This isn't about what I want. All it means is that there's an editor out there who likes my work, which is kind of cool. That's it. End of story. Doesn't change my plans in the slightest. That's some hard cap right there. Well, the plan was to head to Hiroshima Town tomorrow. Are you sure you're still cool with that? It was entirely possible that we'd be leaving the world we knew behind for months, even years. Something told me Anzu's new editor wasn't going to sit around waiting for the next manga for that long. And I didn't know the first thing about the manga business. That's a ridiculous question, said Anzu. Do you seriously think I'd bow at the last minute just because they ran decided to assign me an editor? Yeah. Sure, it'll be a shame to pass up that opportunity, but who cares? The tunnel's going to grant me something much more valuable than one measly editor. It's not like this means I'll have to give up writing manga for the rest of my life or anything either. Yo, 100 years in the future, manga is gone. Manga doesn't exist anymore. Everybody just has the power to make mini movies. They put into a chip, they put into a USB, and you plug it into your brain. The town's going to grant me something much more blah blah. Now that I know that my work is worth something, I can double down on it as soon as we make it back out. So please, just let the editor thing go already, okay? That's really how you feel, then why do you look so distressed? I thought being a manga artist was the only thing you ever wanted. Aren't you ecstatic to finally get some recognition from the pros? Are you really going to throw away this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make it big, just like that? Like hell you are. I think you should really give this more thought, Hanashiro. Let's at least postpone the expedition for now. Anzu shook her head vehemently, as though I'd ask her to break her moral code. Absolutely not. It will only make it harder for her to let go in the long run. Harder to let go of what? Of everything. My manga career, my friendship with Koharu, all the dead weight tying me down that might make me reconsider going to the tunnel. Burp. The longer we put this off, yo, I don't know why, but when I read, I feel like I burp way more. I like don't burp at all on stream, but when I read, I find myself burping a lot. I don't know why. Is it the way I sit? No way, right? I'm breathing more. Is that how it works? Yes, that's how it works, huh? Because burping is to get rid of more air. It's because I'm reading so fast, I'm just... Oh, really? I never knew that. Wait, were we? The longer we put this off, the harder it's going to be to cut those ties and leave everything behind. If we don't kiss the world goodbye and launch the expedition right now, I'm afraid we never will. Oh, come on, don't call your friend that way. And don't talk about your manga that way. I know how important to you it is. I mean, it's just a stupid hobby. Listen to me. I can tell you're getting cold feet. You wouldn't have called me here to talk if you weren't. If you're having second thoughts, then we gotta seriously pump the brakes and reconsider our game plan. Ark, Anzu groaned, placing her elbows on the table and holding her head in her hands. Yo, I swear, cause of this, they're gonna, her dad, or his dad's gonna find out the freaking letter, or the will that freaking MC wrote, and dad's gonna go ballistic. Her bangs hung like drapes over the table as she let out a whine of distress. I don't know what's best for me in the long run. What should I? I gazed at the ceiling fan overhead, its motor whirring softly as it spun in circles around a single fixed point. Around and around and around again. I made my decision. We'll postpone it for now. It will give us both time to think harder about what we really want. When you did a little running, I took in a lot of air and would burp it. Oh, really? I don't remember that at all. But then again, or in gym where I would run and I would freaking die. I don't know. I don't remember. I see. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. Paying no mind to how utterly heartbroken this seemed to leave Anzu, I lifted my coffee cup and poured its lukewarm contents down my throat. Even after we'd settled up with the owner and stepped out of the cafe, Anzu looked pretty despondent. Her shoulders sagged and her eyes were fixed diagonally on the ground the whole way home. Neither of us really said a word, and the few times I did try to strike up a conversation, she only gave 1 or 2 word answers. Eventually, I gave up entirely, figuring it would do more harm than good to attempt to forcibly cheer up. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. Like IRL, like if you have a friend, I mean, it differs from like person to person, right? But you have a friend that's like obviously upset. Like, how do you know when you be super nosy and try to like tell them to, hey, rely on me, please. Talk it out with me and rely on me. Or how you know when to like, okay, leave them alone, they got it. That's tough. I don't know how. There's not like a freaking flow chart for this thing. Is there? Man, I don't know the meta. So I walked in silence the rest of the way to the bus stop in front of the school. Originally, I planned to say goodbye to Anzu and head to the train station right away, but I didn't feel right leaving her in this emotionally disheveled state, so I decided to hang back and wait with her until her bus arrived. I'm really sorry, she said abruptly, breaking the silence. Nah, that's cool. Not like either of us did anything wrong here. But you've been waiting so long to see your sister again, and now because of me? Anzu sniffled. She seemed to feel much worse about this than I realized. Scratching my head restlessly, I tried to summon the most reassuring voice I could muster. Come on, cheer. There's no shot. Cheer up, Buttercup is so cringe. Come on, cheer up, Buttercup. I hate to see a pretty girl cry. I hate the main character so much. Stop, I'm being serious here. So was I. They just put freaking Giga Chad emo after this. That's mad cringe. Oh, I'm gonna smack you. I placed my hands on Anzu's shoulders and she jerked back a bit. She has such a delicate frame. Stop! The freaking... I said it's been like 3 or 4 occasions where the main character said she has such a delicate frame. Stop saying that. It feels weird. I could feel the exact shape of her clavicles through her skin. Okay. I squeezed her shoulders gently and a tremor ran through her. I didn't let go and instead brought my face closer. Close enough to see myself reflected in her teary eyes between each beat of her long lashes. This is so much better in freaking anime movies where they do it dramatically, like and it happens in like a few frames. But when you describe it, it sounds cringe. Dang, what those clavicles be doing though? Wink wonk. What? She asked. You really are pretty though, you know that? Huh? Why are you saying that? I mean, you got big, beautiful eyes, perfect skin, a cute little nose. That's about as perfect as a face can get. You would be a model if you really wanted to. Hell, you're prettier than half those magazine girls already. No, Wolf, please. Anzu's face went crimson to a point that I almost expected steam to pour out of her ears. There's no shot this worked. Yo, you're like if like someone like if Fade gets sad for some reason and I want to cheer Fade up, do I say this? Yo, Fade, you have big beautiful eyes, perfect skin, a cute little nose. That's about as perfect as a face can get. This is cringe. Wait, Fade actually likes it? Okay, there, right? There we go. We did it, boys. Anzu's face went crimson to the point that I almost blah blah blah, saying this close to her. I could see each and every little shift in her expression oh so perfectly. Cut it out, Tono-kun. What's gotten into you all of a sudden? Anzu tried to cover her face, but I took her wrists and pulled them away, holding them high over her head in a force. I surrender pose. I never seen described like that. What the? Then I went on in a voice loud enough for every teacher and student on campus to hear. Wait, please give. I can't read this. I can't read this. We're gonna end it here. Face it, Hanashiro, you're a total babe. You're both like drop dead gorgeous and irresistibly adorable. You've gotta be the cutest girl in the whole wide world. This time, I thought I really did see steam coming out of her ears. Would you knock it off? Anzu hissed, resting her hands free so that... Resting? Is this a word? Or is this supposed to be wrestling? Resting her hands free so that she could use them to cover my mouth. What the hell is wrong with you? Have you gone completely insane? Wolf, I'm so sorry. Hahaha, sorry, just thought it might be quick and easy way to cheer up. You're literally unbelievable. Anzu left out a sharp, huffing sigh of disdain. A moment later, just as I hoped, I heard a little pfft. I can't believe that worked. That actually worked. Yo, I'm pulling this technique sometime IRL. And I'll probably get slapped for it. You are literally unbelievable. Oh wait. A moment later, just as I hoped, blah blah, and then the levee broke, and she burst out laughing. Pfft. Ha ha, ah ha 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 ha. Oh god, my sides. How can you be so dumb? I'm dying. Ah ha 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 ha. Seeing her cackle uncontrollably made me start to feel pretty silly too, and before long, I busted up laughing right along with her. Yeah. Wait, Wolf, stop. Wait, I'm gonna smack you. You know what? Say that again after I smack you, Wolf. Impervious to the judgmental glances we received from the occasional passerby, the laughter came like a raging fire from deep within. Each time I thought we were finished, the coals reignited and flared all over again. Before long, it felt like we'd forgotten what the joke was in the first place, and we're laughing at the fact that we've been laughing for so long. Finally, when my cheeks were soft and sore, the giddiness mercifully abated. We were both drenched in sweat and wholly out of breath. Right, Mofu, right. Holy crap, I'm exhausted, I said, still panting. Sheesh, Hanashiro. Why do you have to go and make me laugh for so long? Me? You're the one who started. God, my abs hurt after that. Anzu still snickered a little as she wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. It was only a simple gesture, yet on her, for reasons beyond me, I found it oddly alluring, even seductive. Man, you've got really attractive... You're still going! Yo, Mofu, imagine you laugh and I'm like, Mofu, your laugh is so attractive. What have I said that, Mofu? What have I said that? Man, you got a really attractive laugh though, I said. Anyone ever told you that? Oh, thank God we're done. Holy heck. Mofu freaking dying. Oh, no you don't. I'm not letting you get me riled up again. Get out of here, you. Anzu turned away in a cutesy huff. I hate this so much. I found myself thinking that it was like a scene straight out of a teen romance novel. You're a freaking teen! And I savored the unique thrill of awkward adolescent flirtation. Range untitled, unfriend, unzinc. Oh, unzanky? No, please, I need you. Cringe. You'll imagine. I savored the unique thrill of awkward adolescent flirtation. Yo, me saying this is so sus. Holy heck. This is not it. Get me out. The movie wouldn't have any of this. And Fall Guys? No. Then, as if right on cue, Anzu's ride rolled up to the bus stop and the automatic doors open. She shot me a playful smirk and hopped aboard. Alright, I guess we'll be in touch. Well, see you later. Yep, see you later. With a loud whoosh of compressed air, the automatic doors closed and the bus pulled away from the sidewalk. I stood there and watched it go until it was completely out of sight. Behind the obnoxious cacophony of cicadas, I heard muffled wind and instruments begin to play out of tune. It seemed that wind ensemble practice had begun. If I listened closer, I detected the sound of one of the sports teams shouting the names of different stretches as they wound down for the day. To be sure, it was about this time when club activities normally wrapped up. If I stayed much longer, I see a fair number of students walking out the main gate. Guess I'd better get going. I set off down the sidewalk toward the train station. When I looked above me, the sky overhead was so unbelievably blue, it almost didn't look real. I felt so alive. And I feel so lonely. What the heck? This chapter made me feel so lonely.